Good morning, everybody. So we will immediately start the second day of conference of this 8th conference on gvSIG. So we are starting this first morning session with 3 20-minute speeches, and at the end we will have a question and answer session. So first, I would like to introduce you to Miguel Loisas. If we were studying the history of speakers of the different conferences, well, he has been there from the very beginning, so he's going to present a touristic portal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for waking up so early to be here. So this is the structure of my presentation. I'm going to give you some context and the motivation behind this project, the architecture of the system, the function of this web portal and the different applications that we find in the portal, with the mobile application, the desktop application, and we will end with a conclusion and future projects. So obviously, touristic promotion, the defense of tourism is basic for the economy of our region, of our country, of our cities. Tourism is a source of it is a source of money for all these regions. And when we started to organize those conferences, we had no mobile phone, no smartphone, we had no GPS in our pocket to be able to use this new application. But now we have the technology to build such a touristic portal, reading from the different database sources, offering services to the clients, to the users. And it can also use libraries for mobile phone in order, to give that information. We haven't found any manufactured product that we could install and that we could offer to any cities, any region, a device that would be so powerful enough that we would be able to offer that service to all these cities. We are a research group in the Universidad de La Coruña. We have been created in 1996. We've been working on R&D and I, and we've been working on this kind of project. In 2003, we have created a spin-off company called Exgenio. Behind that company, we wanted to market the product that were developed by the laboratory. Laboratory was not obviously going to sell the services. The research group was not going to market their services. This is why we needed that company. Plus, in 2000 and something, a new university law was approved, and it was impossible, to find a way to market those products or to contract, very good experts coming out of the university. And this is why we have also created that company. It's a very nice place to be able to contract people that have been studying in the laboratory. At least they are not flying away, they're not escaping from Spain, and they are staying in our company. We have decided to create this product, and we wanted that product to include those characteristics: geolocalization of touristic elements. It means information about cultural and natural heritage, monuments, or beaches, natural parks, and also some information about hotels, about museums, restaurants, places, establishments, and facilities, and so on and so forth. But we also needed to visualize elements like maps and to have different data files with each and every element. We also wanted to have different search engine per type, per possibilities, and with a smartphone, visiting a region or a city, thanks to the GPS device, we could get the immediate and closest information. We also wanted to be able to work without internet, because we are living in Galicia, and when you are in the countryside, well, if you have 1G, well, you're lucky enough. So we wanted to make sure that this application could work without the internet. We also wanted the user to be able to select its favorite elements, could find its way thanks to the coordinated previously calculated without internet connection. We also wanted it to have a social function. I think that today this is very important. And we had to be able to command and value the content, to share them on the social networks, and you know, they are very important, so we have to be able to do that. We could also include information generated by your user from Flickr, from Twitter. And as we didn't want to create a product for big cities, but for smaller units, we wanted that product to be sustainable. We wanted to make sure that the user of that product, the buyer of the product, could maintain easily the information, that it wouldn't be a too costly operation to maintain everything, to handle the information, to manage those data, that they wouldn't need us to update that information, that anybody could download that information, that hotels association, touristic board could also do it without any problem. And we also wanted to have a cheap solution on something like 2,000 euros for the users, for the city, for the village. And we also wanted to be flexible. That is to say that a city with lots of beaches could custom it to offer much more weight on beaches, and a village that's in the countryside could simply increase the amount of space available for trees, for example. So we have the tourism database as the base of our system, of our architecture, with a data model in which we can store monument, museum, hotels, national heritage. And we have also two other layers on top of it. We have a geo-localized consultation service. So it's a web service to which you can send your query, and you can learn about the monuments that are complying with what you're looking for. And we have also another web service of map and data. And on those three bases, we have created different application. The first one is an application iOS. We have created application for iOS, for Android, that you can query, you can send your query to get information. Then on the right you have the desktop application, one using gvSIG, and so that users can use gvSIG to process the information and to introduce that information in the software. We have also the public web application for end users. We have been doing it for desktop and also for mobile phone. And finally, a web management application for users too. So we are Postgres and PostGIS, as we are using those database. We have a web server. We have the a different geo server with different services. On the other hand, we have a web application. We are using Java, and so we are using the Spring framework and Hibernate as the data layer. And we have also all the web interface and web service. On one hand, we have the application for the web. We are using open layers. And on the other hand, for the mobile application, we have the mobile devices, and we have the for the application that we use for the desktop, we are based on gvSIG. So now I would like to share with you how the look of that application. We have created it for Vigo and A Coruña. They're not going to use it because they have another kind of application, but I wanted to choose that city as an example. A Coruña is well known. They have lots of monuments, so it might be interesting, well, to show it's much more visible than if I had chosen a smaller a city or a village in Galicia. So this is the web portal. You see, well, all the functions available. We have different layers. On the left, you see the different available layers. It's very difficult to read, but you see civilian architecture, religious architecture, museum, natural resources. You can also choose, well, the facilities layer, restaurants, for example. You can also change, well, the format of the map. Here we have Google Map, but we can change it. We can also select a path, a route to follow. We have the different touristic route for the user, and we can also look for some information, writing in the search engine, or simply clicking on one of these elements to discover the data file. Some of the elements have a little plus sign, because in general in the cities, well, the historic monuments are all at the same time. So instead of putting all the points together, we have put one, and when there are others around, we put a little plus. And if you want to see, well, the other monuments in the same area, we just have to click on this plus sign and you get it. Here you see, well, the file of an element. We have, well, the information, the multimedia information, pictures, videos, external social content. Here the user can also stress, underline some content has favorites, because we think that lots of people are going to use this tool before traveling to a city. They will choose their favorite monuments. They will be able to download them. And once they visit it, they will be able to read the information. Well, you know that some people that are going on cruises have internet on board, so it's great. But when they arrive to a port and they want to visit the city, there they don't have the internet and they don't have any information. It's not the case here, because you can download it and you can read information even without the internet. We can also download some coupons and some discount offer for a restaurant, for example. We can also sit as a list. We don't always want to read it on a map, so we can read it on a list. We have different routes that we can follow. We can predefine the routes. For example, the naval construction in Ferrol. You know, we have lots of shipyards in that region, so we could, for example, well, design that route. We can download it with the format that you choose, that you prefer to visualize it once you're there. And we have adapted the web so that you can see it on the mobile phone, so it's much easier. You don't need to zoom in, zoom out. You just change the view of the application when you are using it through your mobile, and it's very user-friendly. And as we are using the mobile, well, we are using the HTML5 so that we can, well, extract the information through our browser. And so you see how you see, for example, that we have the localization of the user itself. And, well, if you are on a cruise, well, it can also choose manually its localization. For example, if it's on a cruise, you're not interested in knowing that it's in the middle of the sea, but it can simply decide to put his localization point where it will be in a few time. So this portal had also to offer the possibility to manage that information. So once a city has decided to pay for that application, they will be able to manage the heritage data, to create new elements, to delete some element, to modify the localization of something, to increase the number of touristic facilities, to manage the routes, the coupons, the offers, the discounts, and all these functions that are available for the user should be managed by our clients. Well, we know that the Hotel Association in A Coruña has the capacity to manage, well, all the hotels in Catalonia. So that association could also manage that information related to hotels. And, well, we can also visualize the application on the mobile. We can have different views. I can look for some close facilities. I can also download the favorites. I can download the routes. I can follow those routes without internet connection. One more time. We have adapted the file to the mobile device. It's much even a much better view than with the web. We have all the information about the maps. It's also a multimedia application. We can download the route. I can know how to go from point A to point B without any problem. And finally, we have also created a desktop client because, well, we thought that it might be interesting for other clients so that they can visualize the information with other data sources. For example, you have a data layer that are very interesting. Those interest layers, well, I'm not going to ask them to contract me to migrate, well, other data sources. I want them to be able to download their own data layer directly to the portal. They can import it, they can process it, they can manage it, and they can finally load the final version in, well, that application, PDF map. Well, at the end, they can do what they want with their information. You have 2 minutes left. Well, conclusions. So you have seen a product that we have developed through our spin-off company. It's a multi-device application. We think that the multi-device application is really our future. We have also designed a web application adapted to mobile devices. We think that we still can include new functions that are working without any internet connection. And we think that the user should custom its experience, that they should participate, they should include, they should share that information with other users through that portal. And to make sure that it is sustainable, well, we also need an administration application. We need the end user to promote and to manage the information, to change the data. We want the hotels, for example, to manage their own application and not our company. We really want people to use it as if the application was theirs and without our help, that they don't always need to come back to us to change anything, to manage the information. So this is why we decided to make it as simple as possible, and that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.